Hello, good afternoon, everyone, and happy Tuesday. Thank you all for joining us for this webinar, One Person, One Plan, Many Partners. I want to thank our partners at Nucleos for hosting this webinar, and now I'm going to turn it over to Ian.
Thanks, Bethel. Let me get our presentation started. But thanks, everybody, for joining. Coabe, thank you for hosting this webinar. Yeah, as Bethel said, I'm Ian Dunnington, VP of Public Sector at IT1 Nucleos. We're going to be talking about how reentry can become more coordinated, more organized, more effective when education, career support, and critical resources all come together around one person and a shared plan. Not one plan, not one size fits all, but one plan for one person. So let's get in. No. There we go. Can everybody see my screen? Noah, can you see the screen? Great. Okay. So joining me today is Noah Freeman, CEO of Nucleos. Welcome, Noah.
Hey, everyone. Great to be here.
Also from Nucleos, Christopher Aro. He's the COO of Nucleos.
Thank
Hi,
you,
Chris.
Ian.
Marley Jane Nakamura, and she's an education supervisor with Hawaii Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. Hi, Marley.
Hi, everyone. Good morning.
Good to see you. I hope everything is lovely in Hawaii. So we're all going to get a little bit of a taste of Hawaiian life today during this webinar. And then, of course, we have Jim from Go Educate. Hi, Jim.
Hi, Ian. Thanks for having me. Hi, everybody.
Great. Thank you very much. So today's webinar is really a conversation. I've got some great subject matter expertise from MJ. We'll call you MJ if that's okay, Marley. Chris, Noah, and James. And hopefully we have some interaction and Q&A at the end of this session. This is really going to be about how you can coordinate a pathway for someone who is incarcerated all the way to reentry and a really great job and future. So to get started, Noah, I'm really going to take you over to the next slide. And we're going to talk a little bit about your vision and really what frames this pathway and how you started what you're doing.
Definitely. I've come into this work originally from a background in international education. And for us, it's really all about helping people to achieve their goals. We do that with our platform, Achieve DXP, the digital experience platform, which means it's one platform that sits between users and all the apps we do. So I think there's some really key principles for delivering education and corrections that are important. I think, certainly free access, having people have enough time to be in the courses. But when we're looking at digital education in particular, it's so critical to keep teachers and instructors in the loop. When you talk about properly personalizing learning in a way that's keeping instructors in the loop, first of all, it's being able to use all the different applications, websites, programs, learning management systems that learners can access that instructors are using from the many different programs connected within a world of a correctional agency and all the education delivered there. And we're seeing that's really driving great results. So with some of the state departments of corrections we're working with, for instance, by being able to have that one portal that's consolidating all of the different learning tools. Sometimes we have 30, 50 different learning tools, apps, vocational certificates, college learning management systems, adult basic ed programs, literacy, social emotional wellness. Connecting those all in one place means that instructors and admins can focus on teaching, working with those students, and not juggling and managing tons of different passwords and tools. So in one state DOC, we've seen 4 to 5x improvement in the amount of programs being delivered. And that just transforms into results. In another state bureau of corrections we're working with, since we've launched, they've been able to reduce recidivism by about 2/3, going from around 30% to 11%. So that's really the vision here: remove barriers for educators, for learners, for administrators to deliver all the right programs that people need, tied in with the systems, in-person support they already have in one easy platform. and being able to track those results.
Wow, you've done a lot there. So when you really just had to synthesize it, what problem are you trying to solve for that exists sort of in corrections?
Yeah, I think in corrections, the one of the core problems we're trying to solve for is just education technology complexity. So the core idea is simple. We want to center the individual, then align education, career support, and critical resources around that person. So those are some of the key goals. Um, we don't want people just participating in programs, but we want to make sure we're getting real and lasting progress. So part of that is also being able to leverage a great network of high quality partners. We've got
Yeah.
about 200 app partners with Nucleos, right? And we're focused on apps that will get you a diploma, a degree, or a vocationally recognized certificate. And so that's really key to what we do.
Yeah, so in essence, it's really providing a platform that can exist within corrections facilities that has education, career support, and other critical resources, and you're bringing all of those to bear. Does that resonate with you, MJ, as a practitioner in Hawaii? You've seen that live.
Yes, it is actually, Ian. It's very helpful. Just in general, before Nucleus, I could say like, we're having a hard time to connect to every service providers from the outside. And we even have to wait for contracted individuals to come and implement the program or do the service. But with one platform wherein they get the resource link they need, the academic platform, the career and technical platform that they need, it's all aligned in one. And then with that, when one students finish what they need, like let's say, for example, from ABE, getting to college, and then getting to their career and technical pathways, HVAC, whatever other more platforms or career pathways we have in Interplay, they're ready. By the time they leave, I have seen so many already with the short amount of time when we started Nucleus by January, right? I have started already seeing 5 guys leave with a complete certification, ready to go for their job and be back with their family.
Wow, that's exactly what we want to see. Thank you, MJ. That's really great results. Hopefully, more to come. So, one of the things that we're going to talk about in a minute is really that essence of one size doesn't fit all, and you have people that come to you in your programs that are in different areas, different timelines for their reentry. They may have different needs when they arrive. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yes, actually,
So Noah, talk a little bit about how we're not just one size fits all. How do we customize this to each individual participant's journey?
Yeah, definitely. So, we're looking to leverage all the pieces that are there to help building pathways so they're personable, actionable, and supported by all the tools that agencies might be leveraging across all of um, the different people helping different incarcerated people on their learning journey. So in terms of assessing the basics, we want to leverage the best assessments out there. So we're going to hear from Go Educate. They're a partner today that does a career and technical assessment on career skills. Um, but we also work with many others, state workforce agency assessments, Department of Labor assessments. We work with TABE for adult basic ed assessments. We work with CASAS as well on adult basic ed assessments to get people's skills and um, on kind of the basics. GED testing is something we support as well from the different types of GED providers to make sure people are on that path to get that high school diploma um, or high school equivalency. In terms of assigning the coursework, we try to keep teachers in the loop. So our platform allows you to assign coursework from any of the different connected apps, right? Some of the very cool partners we have as well, like Coursera, are very widely used on the outside world, right? We have people working at our company who've kind of broken into tech from um, having a justice-involved background using apps like Coursera. So we try to bring in those apps, but also everything a state's leveraging. So if they have workforce partners, we want to bring those in. So we work on all of this. We track all the outcomes so teachers can follow through. The learning happens in all the platforms that a state and an agency needs. And then it's all coming back onto one learning record. And I think that's really critical. People want to feel motivated. They want to be able to see their progress and they want to be able to take that with them when they leave. And we're able to then pass those records on to employers with career platforms like GoEducate or others that we connect with. They even provide a solution where you can bring in employers who are friendly to hiring formerly incarcerated people and pass on those resumes or those certificate portfolios on Nucleos and track who's getting employed and hired. So I think that's really important with a lot of the new Department of Labor focus coming out on supporting career and technical programs that are getting very high levels of completion and placement. Being able to track that all within connected systems is very important, as well as bringing all the right resources to someone.
Yeah, thanks, Noah. Chris, I'm going to just ask you a question because you were previously incarcerated and you've been through this journey. What are your takeaways from that not one size fits all? Tell us a little bit about your journey and how it's related to the second chances that you've gained.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you so much, Ian, and good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for attending. Yeah, and to kind of answer this question, so yeah, I am a former Marine. On top of that, I was formerly justice impacted. And I worked my way through tons of odd-end jobs trying to figure out my place in this world, from being a fry cook to landscaping to structural CAD design. And as Noah briefly mentioned, is going in through Coursera was my saving grace. And so taking multiple professional certification courses inside of Coursera, learning the ins and outs of software. And I can't say that it was luck. It was a lot of hard grit and a lot of effort and, staying up late and no vacations and not even being able to afford a vacation, right? And so with that is there was no one size fits all for anything that I had done and what I was trying to aim for because I didn't even know what I was aiming for. And so that was the biggest part is a lot of us in our current industries and our current occupations, when we went to college and we went to school, we didn't foresee which occupation we were going to be landing in. And that's the case for many of us today. And so with that, I never saw that I was going to be in justice tech and I never foresaw that I was going to be leading into a software company. And going into this was now we have the Achieve DXP, which can help break down all of these different goals and these pathways and bring in all these different applications into one focal point with just one single sign-on, making it easy to access each application and make it more of a prescribed notion for each of those individuals then.
Yeah, perfect. Hey, MJ, I've got a question for you. From the instructional side, do you see these different starting points showing up clearly within the system when you're engaging with a learner? Like, are they an A, B, or C track or a combination thereof?
It is actually a combination, Ian, yeah. So from, ABC, just like how you said, it's a combination of different residents, participants, even
Yeah.
competency skills, all combinations.
Yeah. But are you seeing them clearly? Is it easy to sort of gauge? You're doing assessments and those are helping, correct?
Yes, it is. Because from the part wherein they come to education, once they come to on my side, on the education center, we do intake orientations. And when we do intake orientations, that's the time wherein we do their pre-assessment through CASAS on the platform. Yeah. CASAS test. From there, we identify what do they really need. It's straightforward, like what are we looking forward to achieve before you leave or you reach your temporary parole date. From there, we're going to start planning. We're going to ask different questions. What job are you looking for? What are you in line to? If you don't have GED, okay, let's prepare out from your CASAS assessment or competency scale. What will be your most ready subject to take to pass your GED? After your GED, what's going to be your plan for college? So it's really, that's how we go through from the assessment. And even before, like, let's say a month or 3 months before they leave, we go and revisit from their transition. What do you have right now before you leave that we can be of help? Will it be, getting a job or applying to a job already or connecting you to an employer or getting a housing unit?
Yeah, great. And that was a good shout out to a great COABE partner, Cassis. So thank you for that, MJ. Chris, this slide sort of gets into how the coordination within Nucleos really works. So maybe you can sort of talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so definitely. So going into just not even just into corrections, going into education, having a plan, visibility, accountability, the momentum, and what the Achieve DXP platform does best is being able to take all these different parts of this plan. So take these four different segments here and be able to consolidate that into just one person, one sign-on. That way they can see the plan, see the visibility, the accountability all in one spot. And so I would say one of the biggest parts is the visibility, right? So having visibility into what can I see as for myself and be able to achieve. And so being able to even see my plan. And so if I don't even know where I'm heading to and what I'm doing and why I'm doing the things that I'm doing, it makes it really hard for someone that's incarcerated to even have that hope and to see the end of the light at the end of the tunnel. And so with this, being able to have that user be able to see each aspect of their own plan and know why they're doing what they're doing and be able to achieve each one of those next steps. And as we work very closely with MJ and her team and being able to say, even it's just a simple Coursera course, and being able to put that course in front of them and being able to show them the whys of what it's going to affect and how it's going to affect their actual trajectory and their plan. It's huge for someone like me that was actually formerly incarcerated, making it back home, working all the odd end jobs as from a fry cook to landscaping. I needed hope. I needed something in my life to just show me that glimmer of hope, even if it was a simple degree or professional certification from like U of M for a beginner Python course. But just having that little U of M stamp on that certificate, me being able to see that, I thought no one could turn me down if I just have that little stamp on my certificate. And so I think visibility is a huge part of this entire trajectory. And I would say that's the biggest part because then it's just going to lead into the accountability and the momentum here because now we're able to hold ourselves accountable as the learners on the platform. And then with MJ being able to have that visibility and to see where someone's being blocked or where they need help with, it makes it very easy for her to jump in and just assist her students.
Yeah. MJ, how important are credentials to your students?
I would say really very important, Ian, because that's what they say, like, MJ, what are going to be my advantage versus to somebody who had college degree from the outside and I only have, I don't even have high school diploma when I get out. So that's where we fell in. That's why we always encourage them, especially here at Halaba. GED is a big thing. The more if you can get to a college program. And then through Coursera, just like, oh, thank you anyway, Chris, for helping Mr. Bothi. Now he's ready. He's so much ready getting to apply into a job that says about solar, that he got his solar certification and even in Interplay. So it's a big deal for them. This is what they always tell me, Ian. When they get out, which I bump into them from the outside every time, Hawaii is a small island, they come and tell me, because of this certification, because of how you'd help me with a clearer pathway on how to proceed for programming. Now I am into this job, Gyukaku. They have their own food truck. So it's like really it's overwhelming for me to say like, yeah, I'm so happy for you, but it gives them a clear perspective like, yes, now I'm on the right track because I have the right credentials to present to my employer when I get a job.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely great messaging for Second Chance Month as well. Thank you, MJ. So Chris, this is sort of, anyone can look at this workflow, and this actually applies with or without the Nucleos platform. Perhaps you can take us a little bit through that workflow that we built within the ecosystem.
Yeah, definitely 100%. I think this just goes, it's not just for the incarcerated population. This goes for everybody. This goes from your average learner that's, say, a high school student looking to breach into college or even into trade skills and go into the, workforce. And so the first thing is obviously you got to discover the needs. What are we needing for this individual to make it into that career and workforce? And so we need to figure out what are their goals. I used to be a personal trainer, big on the personal training realm. And so whenever you're working with someone, is identify their goals and what are their hindrances? What are the blockers and barriers that are going to block them from achieving these goals? And so with our platform, what we like to do is we're able to diagnose who needs what, GED, ESL, etc. And we're able to identify these different needs. And from Marley's side, just from her student information center, she's able to just identify which applications they need. And that automatically happens inside of our platform, which applications they gain access to. And so it makes that admin portion extremely easy. And then that way we can jump into building the pathway. And so you can see how it just bleeds right into the next segment here. And so if we're able to identify each one of those things that they need from ESL to GED to building the pathway to show them where we're going to get them to, and then coordinating with the partners. And so, as Noah had mentioned here earlier, we have over 200 applications and different partners that we partner with in this space. And bringing all these different partners in here, it's a huge overtaking. And so, with that, we've automated the whole process from being able to onboard the student into the application to derostering the student out of the application, freeing up licensing seat, and it's seamless. And so that therefore Marley, when she's on boots on the ground and she's doing the work that she does, she's not having to sit there and create a first name, last name, email address, credentials, make a spreadsheet. And I mean, a lot of us in this space we can attest to the endless amounts of spreadsheets and the endless amount of credentials we have to do. And so therefore it's alleviating all of these issues, and then on top of it, the progress reporting. And so anytime we're working in, adult basic education or even inside of prisons, it comes down to being able to report on what the students are doing, when and where and how. And so our system can actually pull the progress reporting from every single one of these applications, like a single pane of glass, and put it into one report that's easy to understand and see who's been working on what, when, and where. And so that's kind of the fundamentals of how we built the platform. And we're always looking to progress it and make it even better. So that way, when MJ's on the ground, it just makes her life even easier every step of the way.
And the question for you, MJ, because when you think of partners, you have lots of other partners, community college and universities that are working within the platform too to serve your population. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we have all different community colleges, Chaminade, Windward. We have all different service providers that would start from who could provide housing, who could provide job for them. Yeah, so it's a lot actually. There are a lot who likes to help our residents over here. Yeah, but it makes it easier for us to see other more resources, service providers in one platform, and that's where the Nucleus came in. Yeah. They're very helpful, I could say that, yeah, especially with our Shamanat and everybody else.
Perfect. Chris, we work with tens of customers throughout the United States. We're up to about 35, nearly 40. Where do you see the biggest gaps when we first start working with an entity?
I would say the biggest gaps is, going into any of our deployments as we first start, I would say the biggest gap is identifying their needs and their wants, and then showing them how we can seamlessly connect those gaps for them, because a lot of our customers are extremely skeptical because they've never seen anything like our DXP. And so I think the biggest gap that we're seeing is just showing them the next step in, correction education, just education in general, is how we're able to capture these different needs and goals of each individual, not just as we're going to put everyone under this one umbrella, but identify every single person as an individual and identify that person's needs and skill gaps and be able to actually give them application access to each different application just at a whim. I would say that's probably one of our biggest gaps here that we're seeing.
Yeah, I think so. Noah, anything to add to that?
I think it's just it's a vision for the future of how we're helping teachers achieve goals and learners get get their achievements, whatever those might be for their success, right? So I think, we like to say, let's automate the busy work and let teachers do the teaching, right? Um, you know, People are talking about AI tutors, AI teachers. I don't know. Maybe not so much in this space, but in like education technology conferences. And I think that's really the wrong approach. I think you want to empower teachers to do more teaching. Learning is a
Yeah.
social phenomenon, and that's best with people in the loop. So as much as we can get teachers teaching, and connecting people with those courses that have a digital um, and an in-person component, I think high quality education today requires both.
Absolutely. Hybrid education is the way of the future. Gosh, I was just at the COAID conference last week, and I think that it just is a testimony that you can't be replaced by AI. They can try, maybe in 5 years, but right now we need teachers and we need that interpersonal, social aspect that really relates. MJ, you know that. So how this works inside Hawaii. So take us a little bit through the journey of someone who comes to your facility and how you release them back out into the community, just from your perspective. And we've got some pretty slides, but tell us the story from your perspective.
So from my perspective, Ian, it would start from inviting our residents to come through what we call as education intake orientation. So from there, I would tell them, how is the procedure of enrollment? When do we start their pre-assessment? And from the pre-assessment, what would it take? Sorry, just 1 minute.
By the way, MJ is working today, so she's got a lot going on.
Yeah, everything all over me now. We're starting for the class and I am on the meeting. My apologies, everybody. So as I was saying, it would start from education intake orientation where we do their pre-assessment from their academic. From the pre-assessment, we determine what are they ready for? What do they need for programming that is through academic and career and technical or life skills program. So from after that, once we get the pre-assessment, we already are going to try to the second part, which is we identify first what program do they need the most to complete before they will transition to a minimum facility or even before they will get out to be paroled. So we are in line. We have this time frame from the transition plan. We make sure that every so often, that's why the learner's record and program through Nucleos is very helpful for me. Because from there, I could see like, hey, are you progressing fast enough or slow enough? Do I need you to offer like more time to complete this certain program or specific program for you or not? So that's where it comes where Nucleos would help us and give us like a clearer direction. It actually serves as a guide and it's very helpful to get a clearer direction on when these guys are supposed to complete their programming. And then afterwards, when they complete every single program, we revisit and follow through with them again. Okay, now you've completed your GED. You're moving to college. You've completed your career and technical skills. Before you get out, what do we need? Where do we need to link you? That way you will be ready for the reentry. So those are like the different stages of how we try and help our residents over here.
Yeah. MJ, what do you do in the community to build awareness about education inside the facilities?
Here in there, Ian, we try to reconnect. We have one way of like reconnecting through their families. Yeah, this is what we call through the parenting program, wherein the family gets to visit. We introduce them what are the different programs. Another is when the department would advertise what are the different programs we are doing or we are rendering to the residents from outside, and they would advertise it all over the states.
Oh, fantastic! That's great. So, in essence, you're taking them from probably just that exploration phase, how they can then improve where they're at, where the gaps are, give them the education that they require to meet certain levels, and then introducing them to, you do employer outreach as well, I think, through the reentry team. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
That's great. So I think that the next phase really is, if you think about it, in this journey, what is the most, what's the thing that has to be the most visible between you and the incarcerated learner? What are you looking at when you look at an incarcerated person? What sort of traits are you looking for? What sort of skill levels, et cetera, are you assessing?
For me, what I would like to see before they leave is their job readiness skills. That
Okay.
yeah, that they've gained this because this is what will help them not to or to reduce recidivism, not to re-enter or relapse again. If
Yeah.
get the chance to provide them these skills, this job readiness skills, or through interplay or other more programs we have from Nucleus, it's lesser chances that they will get because they're able to find a job from the outside and provide for their families. Without this, there's a higher chance that in a month, 2 or 3, that's when they come and tell me like they come back and they say like it's just hard to find a job or it's hard to
Yeah.
find housing and then we relapse.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's tough, but it keeps you going. And you're a trooper for sure, MJ. So thank you. So when you think about these steps to reentry and connecting people to really good paying jobs, as MJ talked about, it's like career readiness is sort of like at the beginning part of all of this discussion. So education, we love education. Education has the goal of getting people gainful employment. And I think that's where it brings us over to Jim from the partner side, working with Nucleos and our customers. Tell us where your part in the plan becomes so critical.
So sure, Ian. So Go Educate really is designed to bring the learner, the education, and the career together, and it works both in a corrections environment and in a general environment. So it really it starts again very much like MJ said. It starts with an assessment to see what your skills are, what your interests are. It then recommends careers based on that level, and it can and that interest, and it can be at multiple levels. It can be from something that requires a certificate to something that requires a 4-year degree. It encourages you to explore, but it doesn't say, "Hey, there's 16 million jobs out there. Find what you're interested in." It recommends them based on what it knows about you. It then identifies the training programs that are available in your area to support that. And then as you progress through whatever education you choose, it helps you build a resume and go out and look for jobs. And it pulls in the institutions and it pulls in the employers. So it's really like a three-sided marketplace with the
Mm,
entire goal of helping the learner or the job seeker get the training and get the job they need.
that's great. So, Jim, tell us a little bit about some of the challenges that you're overcoming with the Go Educate platform.
So the first one is the one I just mentioned. It's that there are plenty of tools out there, and that says basically you can go to Indeed. And how many millions of jobs are in Indeed? Where do
Hmm.
you start? We're a lot of our users actually start in middle school where they have no idea what their job is. So we really try to start wherever we meet them, wherever they are, whether they're in middle school, high school, they're an adult learner, they're an incarcerated learner. It's to help them identify the path that they're most interested in and then guide them through both the training component and the job component. And by pulling the institutions and the employers in, it also reverses some of the paradigms that are out there already. So for an institution, and let's not take a corrections environment. Let's take. I see there are some people from community colleges. Rather than just waiting and hoping people come to fill your programs, you can actually go into Go Educate as the institution, and you can see who's interested in jobs that you have programs to prepare people for, and you can market directly to them. Similarly with employers, rather than waiting for the right people and hoping the algorithms from the job search sites give you the right people, you can see the people in the Go Educate platform who are preparing for the jobs that you are interested in and reach out to them directly through the platform,
Oh,
security notwithstanding.
So, Jim, you're saying that Go Educate sort of acts as a reverse marketplace as well. So, job seekers can be reached by education once they leave incarceration, or
Yes,
employers can find them because they were
yes,
interested. Oh, that's great.
that's exactly right. And there, everyone likes to talk about that. When I posted this job, I got 1,200 applications. That's
Mhm.
not what we're trying to support. We're working to support what you don't hear about in the news, which is in some parts of the country there are types of jobs that they can't find people for. In
Yep.
the Southwest, for example, medical technicians, people not radiologists and doctors, but people who operate the medical equipment, they operate the X-ray machines and things like that. They can't find enough people to do that work to get hired. So being able to go into Go Educate and see who are taking those medical technology certificate programs or associate's degrees, reaching out to them directly, building that relationship either while they're still in school or just as they're coming out, it changes the whole paradigm for finding a job and for finding employees for your jobs.
Yeah, so Jim, there's a lot of investment in workforce development, CTE programs.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, how do you integrate with state workforce or even local workforce development agencies?
Well, actually, that's a really good question. And so we're working on a project in Florida with a number of workforce boards. There's an initiative in Florida to support what they call the oceans economy. It's jobs related to the ocean, whether it's boating or boat maintenance or things like that. And so what the workforce boards do a lot of work in that, and we're coordinating that in Go Educate so that a job seeker can come in, take a survey, see what's available, see who's offering some of the supports that they need, whether they're through a workforce organization, through a community college, et cetera, and then go through that and then and then the jobs for that economy are going to be posted there. That's actually it's very timely. That goes live in about 2 months.
Oh, phenomenal. I mean, that sounds, again, I think where we can really help you, this might be great for Hawaii too, ocean economy. There's probably a lot of work out there in the oceans. Um,
One would
it
think.
could it could move over there quickly. So I'm really excited about what you're doing at Go Educate. What's been happening in Hawaii. Um, MJ, you just had a graduation ceremony. How many people graduated in Hawaii?
Within a while, we had 46 from the different programs, CTE, life skills, and couple of the guys who had passed their sub-test in GED. Yeah, so from the CTE, I'm counting from our HVAC, we have actually three who like completion for the HVAC. Aside from the guys who are already like 75% of completing that program. So that's for HVAC. And then we have one for electrical. Again, aside from the guys who are currently enrolled in ongoing completion already. So we've actually, I'm super happy that we've actually, getting them all this program that they need just before they leave. Because that's always our worry in here. As an education specialist or supervisor over here, I always think they are leaving. These guys, I know they've been coming, they've been trying, they need their second chances, but then we're not equipping them enough before of what they need just before they leave. But now, before they leave, they even come and thank me in here at the office. We did like a 3 months of, implementing Nucleos, like, hey, MJ, thank you so much. I got all these certificates. I'll be seeing you on the outside. That's what they tell me. And even one had already invited me in one of the restaurants. I'm working for Serve Safe Food Manager, Yukaku. I'll give you 75%. And I'm like, oh my God.
That's great. That's great.
That's
That's
all.
good. I can't wait to come back over to Hawaii and we'll go to that restaurant. So sounds good.
Yeah.
So what I'd like to do is do an open discussion, and if you can enter your questions into the chat system, that would be great. I've got a question. Does anyone want to see a demonstration of the platform? Do we get any takers that would like to see a demonstration of the platform? Oh, okay. We actually got some questions. So it said, saw a lot of adult education in there. Do we do youth? And the answer is we do have youth education as well. We are in a number of youth facilities with very specialized content created for them. Ohio Department of Youth Services was just one of our recent client acquisitions. So we're very excited to be training their 250 juveniles that are in that program and hoping to have as much success in giving them a second chance as we are in Hawaii. So thank you for that. And it looks like we're getting a lot of people that would like to see the tool. So Noah or Chris, do you want to go over and are you prepared to do a demonstration?
Yeah, absolutely. Always prepared.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to relinquish the helm over to you, Captain.
Oh, thank you. Like grab a helmet or
Just one of the Star Wars helmets would be good.
awesome. Not the Spec Ops helmet.
No.
All right. Share my screen. Marley, MJ, I am going to be sharing Hawaii's actual instance here since we are talking about Hawaii and have Hawaii on the call with us today. So everyone, if you can see the screen, just let me know before I dive into this here really quick. Awesome. So real quick lay of the land here really quickly. So we have two screens. We have one that has a red border, one that has a grayish blue border at the top. The one that is actually on the right-hand side, this one with our reddish border is actually going to be one of our incarcerated users on the platform. The one on the left-hand side is going to be one of our admins. So this is something that MJ is typically seeing on her side. And we expect her to be able to log in from her computer that she's on right now and be able to enter the system. Now, any of the actual incarcerated users that are on the system, or if you're my children, you have to use the system during the summer as well to continue your education. But with that, going into the platform, we actually lock down the entire web browser. So if I were to actually go here and try to go CNN.com, we're not going to be allowed to go to CNN.com. You can only go to the one landing page here. And so we actually have a extension that's being force installed on our devices. And what's great about this, though, since it is just an extension being force installed on this, it means we're completely device agnostic. And so you can see here, here's a Mac toolbar that you're seeing way at the bottom. And in Marley's situation and MJ's, she's actually utilizing Chromebooks. And so she sees Chromebooks. And if we needed to, we can actually be on a computer lab or on a tablet even. So we actually have correction grade tablets as well. So logging the platform, we are tied directly into the offender management system or the SIS. In this case, we're tied into MJ's SIS system. So once I actually have a brand new user added to the SIS, it's actually going to add them directly into the Achieve platform. And then from there, we actually have the user type in their username or credentials. They'll go ahead and type in those credentials. And beyond that, they're going to do a face capture. Reasoning for the face capture inside of correctional facilities here is so that way we know who exactly is signing into the platform. This is not facial recognition, so it's just taking a picture, looking for two eyes, a nose, and a mouth. And so once they do sign in, now if Ian were to try to sign in as me and we were to be in separate different facilities, what's going to happen is it's going to flag saying that user was actually just signed in on a different device. Flag that user, notify the administrators that two users just tried to access the same account and lock that account down. And then now MJ can actually take a look at what happens. And we are actually flagged on our systems as well. Now going into the platform, we try to keep everything very simple, very basic. 7th grade reading level with icons for everything, because within the population of going into corrections, we're usually sitting about a 7th grade reading level. And so with that, we try to make this as accessible as possible, including all ADA compliances. So we can move the mouse with just facial gestures by looking left and looking right, smiling to actually click. You can actually translate into 135 plus languages on the app, on the system. That means any system that resides within ours as well. So if we go into the applications here, that means all of these different various applications, any text on the screen will actually translate into 135 different languages. Going beyond that, color inversion, and then also speech to text and text to speech. So as I mentioned before, the literacy rates, that also comes with writing as well. So if I can just speak, then it can actually write for me and I can actually help jump through these different lessons then. So going into the applications, as you can see, we have a bunch of different applications here. These are a la carte. So out of our 200 different applications, and we have a catalog that we actually present to the teams, MJ and the rest of her team and the rest of the DOC there in Hawaii get to choose from the catalog, and we actually will populate those into the instance for them. And so it's all based off of our client's needs and what they are actually delivering to the end user. Now, going into the applications here, we can actually just jump into one of the applications, say Go Educate, for example, and go ahead and launch this. So as you see, it works very quickly. We're just jumped right in, and you can see I've already been logged in. So I'm already logged into my T user account. I never had to type in a username, never had to type in a password. And that's because we don't want our users to see their username and password, because if you can actually see your password, there's nothing stopping the incarcerated user from just up in the phone and passing that information to the outside world. And so in this system, it's auto logged in. So we create every single application to have a single sign-on feature. So just click and go. So it makes it very easy for the user. That means they don't have to memorize every single application credentials, and they just click and log in. Because once they signed in once, they signed into every single one of those applications you saw on the screen. Going through the system, though, I do want to scroll all the way down to the bottom here really quickly and make it so you can actually see what's kind of going on. So if we were to actually try to go to any of these different icons here, you're not going to be able to get out to the outside world. And so the only thing that you're able to do is actually go through here, take your career survey, and actually go through the different things. And this account's already taken the survey, but we can actually go back and modify it if we needed to. And I can go back through the Go Educate platform, modify my actual survey, and then have it populate those actual career choices that are designed for me. And so once it shows me what's actually populating for me and what based off of my survey scores, then I can actually go back through and figure out what education do I need in order to obtain a job like that. Kind of layman's terms of here of kind of why we really love working with the team here with Go Educate and Nucleos. So prior to any of this being created, thankfully, Go Educate created this, is one of my friends came over during COVID, and I was really trying to find a job, and I was like, how do you make a six-figure income? I'm only making 44,000 here in Washington. And he basically told me, he's like, here, go to Coursera, do this, and this is what you do. And he was my Go Educate for me. I had my own personal Go Educate. And so this really just makes it so it's simplified and it's accessible to every single user on the inside. Now, jumping into another application, say Khan Academy. All of us are familiar with Khan Academy, K through 12 learning. So you can see here is it's logging us into our platform. We don't know our username, we don't know your passwords, and it's automatically going to sign us in. Now, while that's signing in, I'm going to go ahead and jump in here. I'm going to unlock my account. So let me go ahead and jump in. All right, and I did want to point out here, so if you actually look down here at the bottom of this screen, notice there is no footer, no social media links, nothing. So our system actually has the capability of going through the code on this page and removing certain content off the page. So our end user does not actually see that content now. The primary purpose behind this was really just to keep the user focused on the task at hand. And then we found out that we can actually use this as part of the security tool as well. So now I don't get to see all the different social media about us, contact us pages, etc. We can actually scrub out that material and make sure the end user is only seeing what they should see. And it's really helping them focus at the task at hand. And that was to come into the platform and actually study and not to try to breach our systems all the time. So going into the platform here, we can actually just jump into, I don't know, let's jump into something a little bit different. Nothing too hard. Let's go to kindergarten or second grade for me. There we go. So jumping into something not too difficult. So we can actually go through here. And as you can see, we can literally just use these different applications as they were intended to be used. We can actually jump in here, go through every single one of these different things and use it. And so I'll go ahead and jump out of this and go ahead and digress from the actual user side. So we show how easy it was to actually utilize the platform and jump into different various portions of it. Oh, sorry, I was reading someone's comment there. But we'll go ahead and jump over to the admin portion of the platform. This is where MJ actually lives and resides usually each and every single day in our system. So going into the course and content library, which I'm going to actually pull these up side by side because this is the best way to see this, is notice there's actually more applications on the actual admin side than we actually see here in the user side. And that's because each of the applications has a toggle switch. And what these different toggle switches is, it looks exactly like it's supposed to, is it's like a light switch. I can actually turn these on and off as I choose. So if I wanted to, hopefully I didn't turn off the calculator for every single person inside of Hawaii and someone wasn't using it, hopefully. But as you can see, I lost my calculator just now. And if anyone under MJ right now was on a calculator, they just lost access. If I just turn it back on. And then if we refresh the screen, you can see calculators right back. So we actually are controlling each application, and not just at the highest level of being able to turn it on or off, is we actually have ACLs. We have access control lists that we can actually go through and add users to each one of these different various applications. So let me choose one that actually has my access. So I'll go ahead and see here. Let's do Canvas, for example. So my user has access to Canvas. And so if I went into here and I were to look up here, I can actually remove my user from this application, and you'll see I've been removed from the application completely. And so the benefit of this, though, is we can actually create rosters, and that means for the DOC, they don't have to purchase their average daily population's worth of licenses for this application. They only have to purchase what they need. So we can actually control who's accessing what and when, and including when I just went through that, it went through the full derostering process. So we actually went through the whole derostering process, making it so that this user was not just on the platform and taken off, it derostered them and freed up a licensing seat if there was a licensing seat to be freed up. Additionally, anything beyond that, we can even control the time zone or time frames of when users access different applications. So if we wanted to, we can limit applications from different time constraints down to if we only want them on for 2 hours a day. And going beyond that, we can reduce it down to the facility or down to specific units or rooms as well. So let me go ahead and leave and make sure I don't save any changes here. And then our other portion of this platform is our investigative toolset, which makes it so we can actually see what users are doing at any given point in time, making sure that MJ and the rest of her staff feel secure and safe while deploying this into correctional environments. They can actually view what their students are doing at any given point in time, including everything that this screen that they're seeing on their screens is actually being recorded for up to 90 days into the past. And if we pull up the user in this case, I can actually pull up my user and actually see what is happening and what they had actually done from the minute they signed on to the minute they sign off. So I can replay that data, say 16 times speed, and replay and watch what was happening while in correctional environments. We do partner with non-correctional environments as well. So with these types of features where we don't need this high level of security, we can actually backpedal that back and make sure that we're not going too in-depth on the security portions.
A lot of instructors like the extra security to keep people focused.
Absolutely. And then the other portion that we are releasing here is going to be our external profiles. And so when someone is released, they're able to actually bring out all of the course material that they studied. As MJ was mentioning, that she had a couple graduates that had just graduated and they got some Coursera certificates, which I'm super stoked about that they got those because Coursera was my saving grace, as well as it sounds like it's going to be some of these individuals. And so with Coursera, they're able to get their professional certifications, but we actually made an entire profile where users can actually get those profiles and not just their certs, but everything they've ever done inside of our platform, from usage, time on task, all the way down to their actual resumes that they actually built for themselves. And so their cover letters, their resumes, every single certification that they have ever done. Imagine it's like LinkedIn, but we like to almost nickname it linked out because it's for the incarcerated coming onto the outside. And so it looks very similar, and it makes it so that these users are able to take all those things and bring it out to the outside and create LinkedIn accounts and great profiles for themselves. Oh, I almost forgot. One of the biggest tools here, and MJ probably was gonna mention this if I didn't, is our ability to see learning records. So as I mentioned, there's a lot of applications inside of here, lots of different things you can do, from Interplay VR to honest jobs and being able to search for jobs. But then what about knowing who's done what, when, and where? As we mentioned earlier, we can actually pull up entire group learning records based off of different facilities or units or groups or cohorts, or every single learner at any given point in time. And as you can see here, we can filter this by, say, last year, for example. We can see how many users were completing courses inside of Read Theory, Interplay VR, who completed what and had what in progress. If we scroll down a little bit further, we can see the month-to-month breakdowns. And if we change that time period to, say, last quarter, we can actually see the actual week-to-week breakdown of how much time was spent per application. And then if we scroll down a little bit further, you can see every single person's usage history for every single application. And then we can actually save this as a PDF. And in the case of MJ or any of our correctional partners, or actually any partner that works with us, this is usually extremely useful because of grant funding. And so when you have grant funding, you have to be able to report, and this makes things so much easier just to click one button, grab that report, and send it on its way. And then if you needed to go even deeper into any of these individuals, you just can click into each one of these accounts, go even deeper. And then if you want to, you can even view that individual's learning record and go even deeper and see exactly what scores did they achieve, what different degrees or certifications did they achieve, all right here in one platform with never having to log in as admin into every platform.
Mr. Pavel is living on the 5th grade. Congratulations, team. You got everything he needs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it looks like he did tons and tons of Coursera courses, and it looks like I need to catch up with him. And that in itself is the Achieve DXP. Do we have any questions, comments? We'd
Can I
love to answer any questions.
Can I just add one thing?
Mm-hmm.
The favorite part for the Nucleus is when I can see the live session of the students under investigative tool, wherein, I don't have to walk around or go behind them, but then I can just open in your program who are doing this and I can message them. And I've been doing that with the students. Like, if I don't see their screen moving on, I was like, I know you're tired, you're working, you came just from work, but keep that screen moving on. Let's proceed to your next part. So I like that part. Yeah, wherein I could just literally see it right there live what they're doing, no matter how many there are. Like, even if I have 30 or 20, I can see it from there.
Perfect.
Right.
Thank you, MJ. So, what we're seeing is that, with or without a platform, obviously our platform helps a heck of a lot, but you guys are practitioners, you're doing this. Realistically, better engagement can be had through really getting people to recognize that they have a pathway that truly reflects their goals and or any barriers that exist. So really, it's great, again, MJ, that you're working with the participants in your programs to help them get jobs that they could potentially even get versus, okay, you're going to be an astronaut next week. That would be aspirational, but let's get you to work at a restaurant first. And so you're really seeing that again. The barriers could be huge to be an astronaut. Smoother handoffs, which is where you're coordinating, using the tool to coordinate with all of your other partners and other teammates to really help that individual and actually creating one plan for the person versus boilerplate plans for everyone. I think that the other thing which is driving home is it's really important, and I'm seeing some of the chat here is really good as well, where people like to see milestones. They like to see their accomplishments on the journey that they're on versus I'm on this journey and I don't know where I am. It's like, oh, it's great to know you're going past mile 1, mile 2, etc. And you create that accountability for yourself in helping as well as them helping themselves, which is fantastic. Um, I think ultimately what we're seeing is that real change in a carceral setting cannot happen in a silo, and it can't happen with a one size fits all. We'd love it as a provider to have one size fits all. It would be so easy to create something and then have it just rubber stamped everywhere. But we've found that every single instance, every individual, every facility is unique, and we really appreciate that uniqueness. So thank you again, MJ. Let's see. We got some other questions. So that is a very good question. We do not charge the incarcerated for this. This is all agency paid. So we help agencies to find funding through grants, other mechanisms, make a really good case for it. We do feel that we save time, money, and effort, and actually allow people to do more with less. I don't know if you're in the same boat, MJ, as anyone else, but resources are constrained. It's difficult to hire people, and it's tough to to have the resources that you need. So you're in that boat, I'm sure.
Yes, it is. Because it used to be wherein before we could even provide programming depending on the service providers or resources what can offer, we'll have to wait. And
Yeah.
imagine somebody
Right.
waiting and then they didn't get it. But with the Ready platform, we don't have to wait at all. It's right there for them. They can get it. So that's what I was like. That's why I'm so excited when Roseanne told us all about that there's a program coming in. And of course, just to let everybody know, I'm so grateful and thankful of the team because even if it is like late at night, especially with Chris, Noah, them, I've been messaging them like 6 o'clock on my time, and they still get to respond to my questions. So I've been very, very grateful with that. Yeah. And I'm
Thank
also here at Halaba, like thinking I'm running after the guy that needs to complete a program because we started late due to facility construction. But we've been getting the goal that we set for our residents, and I'm grateful for that with your help. Thank you.
Thank you, MJ. We appreciate you too. And if there's anything we can ever do to make your life easier in a little bit of paradise, just let us know. We'll be right there. So, final thoughts from anyone else? Noah, any final thoughts before we close our session?
No, just thank you for everyone's time today. And, we'd love to follow up with anyone who wants to learn more or connect with us further. I'll put my email in the chat and yeah, happy to connect anyone with the team. Thank you, everyone
Fantastic.
who's joining for the great work you're doing. It's so important.
Yeah, thank you again. We appreciate the adult education community. Any of the students that joined us as well, thank you. I hope you find your pathway. Christopher, any final thoughts?
No final thoughts from me except for if you are working in adult education, regardless if you're in corrections or not, please feel free to contact us, and we can definitely look to assist you guys in your needs and really bring forward just the education portion of workforce development, all the different segmented gaps there are, and bring them all together to make sure that we can make sure that these individuals can get what they need.
Thank you very much. Jim, any last thoughts?
I just want to reiterate what Chris just said. If there's any way that we can help, we work both with inside of Nucleos and outside of Nucleos. We integrate seamlessly with Nucleos. So please contact them. Please contact Go Educate if you'd like any more information. If there's any way we can help you get the folks you serve the jobs they need.
Great. Thank you, Jim. I'd like to take this moment to just say thank you to all of our attendees. I want to also thank COABE. Your recent sessions were fantastic, really great awareness, great communication and collaboration. I was so busy on the exhibit floor, I didn't go up to the next floor and didn't realize that there was a whole new world on the next floor up for COABE. Fantastic stuff. You guys put on a great annual event. I think the next one is in New Orleans. We can't wait to attend there, and some of the regional as well. So thank you very much, COABE, for your leadership in bringing basic adult education into the forefront. And we shall go to Capitol Hill and try and advocate for adult education. Thank you, everyone. Bethel, do you want to close out?
Thank you everyone for joining us. Especially thank you to Nucleus for partnering with us at the conference and then throughout the year as well. I just want to mention that the certificates for attending this webinar will be sent within 24 hours live from when the live webinar ends. So you'll receive those tomorrow afternoon. And if you need to reach out to Nucleus and you did not get the email, you can reach out to us as well, and we can put you in touch with someone from their team as well. So everyone have a great rest of your day, and thank you again.
Thanks, Bethel.
Take
Hope
care,
to see you
everybody.
soon.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye.